There are moments when I wish I could turn myself into a vegetative state, just lying there, inhaling whatever stale air remains in this run-down, crumbling house we call home. I'm exhausted from wiping up and catching the raindrops that seep through the roof, tired of watching floodwater rush in, forcing us to perch like frogs on lotus leaves, hoping for a peaceful sleep. I don't know how to tear apart this miserable life and step into something better. I try my best to make money from things I have no passion for. If I don't work, I starve. But even if I throw myself into it, will life really improve? I feel powerless, useless. I just want to lie there, let myself waste away, consume myself from the inside out, and die with each fading breath. Then a message notification chimes, and once again, you pull me back from the suffocating, inky black emotions engulfing me. If I didn't glance at my phone, I wouldn't even know if the sun had risen yet. My room is surrounded by stained, crumbling walls. The recent flood has stripped chunks of white plaster from them, leaving behind bare patches like shattered eggshells. The water has receded, but it left me with a pile of books reeking of mold. No windows, no light, no signs of life. I drift through life like the lifeless corpses in Nam Chow's famine stories, staring blankly at the clock hands as they inch forward, each tick heavy and sluggish. How ironic. Here I am, alive, yet living the lives of me, of Ho, of Chi, drowning in the same pain they once endured. Living like a ghost, a shadow of the living world. You, the ambitious man with endless dreams. At 5 this morning, you were already in the heart of Vung Tau, handling media for your company's project. You sent me pictures of the early morning bustle, silver-scaled fish, glistening and thrashing in nets, the sunrise over the sea, round fishing boats bobbing on the waves. I missed you tenfold, but envied you eightfold, envied the energy you possessed, while I sat here, surrounded only by darkness. Once again, you sent me a glimpse of life, a piece of the morning that I had forgotten existed. I pulled myself out of bed, washed up, and hastily threw on a thin coat. I wanted to tear through this suffocating weight that had clung to me for days. I chose my escape, a familiar cafe, a seat by the window where I could watch the tide of life push and pull outside. I ran away from my own home, from my own reflection, in hopes of finding myself again. I ordered a hot cup of chrysanthemum tea and let myself sink into daydreams, lulled by the cafe's love songs. Saigon feels strange this year, rain in winter. Watching the raindrops drumming against the leaves, I could almost believe summer had arrived instead. A flood of memories surged through me, suffocating in their intensity. Outside the window, the golden shower trees stood vibrant, their blossoms gleaming like royalty. A flower once called the emperor among blooms, its petals a regal shade of gold. They carried themselves with such pride. Yet, as children, we had cruelly plucked them, crushed them into grotesque dishes for ants and insects to feast on. But what I remember most about these trees aren't their golden flowers. It's the butterflies. For the longest time, I didn't know their name. It wasn't until much later, thanks to Google, that I learned they were called cabbage white butterflies. Small, delicate creatures with pale bluish-white wings, like newborn leaves, and no dazzling patterns, no striking colors, just simple, pure, and heartbreakingly fragile. On sunny days, they would flutter around the golden shower trees, creating a scene so poetic it still haunts me, a ghostly remnant of childhood innocence. A soft voice interrupted my thoughts. "Sister, do you have a tissue? Can I have one?" I turned around. A little girl, no older than 8, smiled at me in her white dress. In her hands, she held an old Canon camera. "No, I don't," I replied, then turned back to the rain-streaked window, sinking once more into my thoughts. But in that fleeting moment, I had noticed her smile, a bright, radiant grin, with teeth straight as rows of corn. Her short hair floated like clouds on a sunny day. She walked closer to the window, raising her camera to capture the view outside. Then, suddenly, she turned the lens on me and click. The flash momentarily blinded me. "What are you doing?" I snapped, irritated. "Taking your picture," she giggled, as if nothing had happened. She turned the camera around, showing me the screen. "Look, aren't you beautiful?" I glanced at the photo. The empty cafe chairs, the half-finished cup of tea on the table, everything was there. But I wasn't. I looked up at her, stunned. But she only smiled, a serene, knowing smile. Her eyes, clear as puddles after the rain, reflected the swaying golden leaves, the endless sky beyond. "Where am I?" I screamed inside my own mind. She ran back to her seat, leaving me frozen in a haze of confusion and fear. Had I buried myself in my dreams for too long? Had I disappeared, erased myself from existence? Was I seeing a ghost, or had I already ceased to exist? No, impossible, I reassured myself. Her old Canon camera dangled from her neck like that of a seasoned journalist, a professional photographer. But wait, she was just a child. Who was she? I turned around to find her again, but her seat was empty. Instead, a single cabbage-white butterfly stretched its fragile wings and flitted toward the open window, into the rain-soaked sky. Where was I in that photo? Where was I in this empty cafe, in this life? And who was she? Was she that pure winged butterfly, now lost in the vast, endless sky? The soft cafe music faded, replaced by the sorrowful murmur of a prayer chant, deep, mournful, infinite in its grief.